is going on, everyone, and welcome to Bona Fide Bullshit, the podcast. I am Eli.
And I'm Angelica.
That is right. We are your lovely hosts of the Bona Fide Bullshit podcast here each and every other Wednesday.
I was a little frozen there for a second. I got a little lost.
You were like, is it showtime? Lights are on. Bright camera action.
There's a lot happening this week, okay? Like, I just have a lot on my mind.
It is. It has been. But let's let everybody know this is episode
37.
37. It didn't take us like 5 minutes to figure out what episode we're on. We're finally back on track with this one-on, one-off situation. I think we finally caught a nice, even, steady flow.
I mean, we're trying to be on track, but I don't know if we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you got to work through it, especially, like you just kind of said, like, the summer's almost coming to an end. Football starting on the weekends now,
which I love. The summer is over because the kids are back in school.
And the kids are officially back in school starting yesterday.
Summer's over. Like, that's it. And don't get me wrong, I've been dying for them to go back to school. I think they needed it and all that jazz. But, man, it doesn't even feel like summer really even began, and now they're at school.
No, to me,
so it's shitty.
Not to get so crazy and deep into it, I just feel like the weather was also been delayed. Like, we got those May showers like in late June, July, and now we're getting that
for
July
like 2
heat
weeks
in August.
straight.
Yeah, and now we got that July heat in August. Like, everything's just off kilter, and it's just like,
I felt like, oh, it's nice. We could like maybe visit a water park or like drive out to some like beach or the dunes, and then it's like, just kidding, school starting.
Yeah, I felt it went fast, and I don't know if it's because during the pandemic things have kind of been at somewhat of a standstill when it comes to work and school. Like, they were doing schooling at home, people working from home, shit like that. But it just feels like it's just been one continuous like.
I feel like I was just talking to I was just at work, and I was talking to my client about that. I just feel like it's just been like constant change and adjustment, and nothing's been really consistent. Like, it was e-learning, and then I rolled into like, that was a total shit show, obviously.
It's a hybrid.
It's a hybrid, which rolled into like, oh, it's summertime, and then you blink, summertime's over, and now, I've adjusted my work schedule through it all because I'm the one who can adjust,
Yeah.
So I feel like my mind's all over the place. Like, when am I going to customers? When am I not? When am I here? When am I picking up the kids? Like, Martin, our eldest, is in cross country. Like, there's just so much scheduling that has to be remembered. It's like, yeah, my mind's a shit show right now, and I'm drinking. So the fact that I'm drinking, and I never really drink, shows that
that's true. My cup's here off to the side. This isn't a proper cup for it, but I got a little mezcal in here that I'm zipping on. Mezcal's meant to be slow sipped, and when my copitas come in, that'll be nice and straight.
Well, that is straight from Mexico, from our family, El and Anna, and it's for tequila.
And we stay hanging out to this
or mezcal is in the tequila family, right? So
yeah, it's part of the tequila family. There's a couple that I really enjoy to drink.
I'm not a mezcal.
Mezcal, yeah. Like, I can't do it. It's weird because I know it comes from the agave plant and it's similar processes.
That weird smoky flavor that I guess I haven't like acquired a taste to yet.
Yeah, see, for me, like, drinking the mezcal, like, I can't do tequila. Like, I can't do the reposados and all this other shit. And
to me, tequila, as long as it's obviously a good one, not like Jose. No offense, Jose. But anyways,
as long Jose of the Cuervo.
Yeah, Jose of the Cuervo. The
Cuervo.
But if you have that, forget it. Your life is over. The next day you're gonna feel like shit and throwing up.
It's a little bit reach back there from my bar, but the brown bottle back there, Bozal. I don't know if anybody can see it there. Its even presentation's kind of cool and rustic, and their process. Shout out to my homeboy Joey the Wizard, the creative director, Drew Estate, all the creative mind behind all Drew Estate's crazy shit. He's a big mezcal guy and kind of put me on the mezcal doing these shows that he does with Frankie Drinks called Sticks and Sips, and it gave me an appreciation for it. And I like the fact that I can have a cigar and I can slow sip it in a copita and just zip a little bit, where, like I said, tequila.
I smell it one more time.
It's not. This one's actually got a little bit more citrusness to it, but it also has a little bit of that smokiness, and that's what it's known for.
A little bit.
The way they distill it.
I could feel like I could still smell tequila. I'm just gonna do it.
It's not the tequila. You're smelling.
I'm just gonna do
agave.
I'm just gonna do it.
Fuck it. Here.
Fuck it.
Let's go. Back to school.
Taking shots.
Back to school.
No, slow. This is slow slipping.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Slow slipping on the old. What the fuck?
Fuck.
Huh? That's it.
Oh yeah, I taste it.
See,
it's there.
What you're supposed to, at least the
it's
first
there.
time, you kind of sift it, smell it.
God, how does my face look? Because I'm like this.
It looks Fago Insano.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you just kind of smell it. That's why, again, pro tip, people. And I didn't know this shit, and When I find something out, I'm all about not the influencer, sharing the experience.
Oh, I really taste that.
And see, what you're supposed to do is when you get it, typically when you got straight alcohol like this, you're gonna want to smell it and open up your palate. So take a couple of deep smells.
Oh, my palate's open.
Yeah,
it's
you
open
went
right now.
So everything that you put, it all hit at once between your taste buds and what your nose was picking up.
I feel like I could taste something, and it reminds me of something, and I can't put my finger on it. Just gonna stick to my Topo Chico.
Go ahead. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's still some in here. I'm gonna finish mine's off. But yeah, hopefully when I get my proper copacitas to go ahead and to drink it, it'll be good. But it's still good. It's the same clay type setup. But yeah, you smell it, and once you kind of open up the passageway, and then you put it in. Let it sit for a couple seconds.
Open up the passageway and put it in. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Clay
block. Open up the passageway and put it in. Technical terms by Eli.
Yes. Getting it in. But yeah, you go ahead and then you let it sit for a little bit on the sun, and then you let it bring down, and it doesn't give you that, what I call it, you drink something, you're like...
No, it definitely didn't. There was just so many layers to it. Like, first I kind of felt like the heat of it, and then I felt like it tasted like tequila, and then after it kind of went down, I could taste all the smokiness. Like, it feels like it's a very layered flavor.
It was... Ugh. You gotta let it sit there for a bit. It's one of those grown and sexy appreciation drinks.
Are you saying I'm not grown and sexy because I can't appreciate it? That's fucking rude.
Say sitting over
That's fine. I'll fucking drink Topo Chico. That's fine.
You're like, I'll stick over here to my hard seltzer as long as it's not White Claw.
You're a fan of Topo Chico. It's in it's in your refrigerator.
It is. I got Topo Chico galore back there. Topo Chico mineral water is what I reset the palate with. When I'm smoking cigars. See, look, we're just not just a podcast. I was going to say foodcast for some reason. It's like a foodcast. A podcast is just general bullshit. We also going to school you guys with some shit. Like I said, for those of you guys partake in the smoking of cigars and that, shout out to you. Topo Chico's been one of my favorite mineral water go-tos.
I definitely don't have anything to school anyone on.
Nothing at all.
Not really.
Knowledge you can. When you're working out stuff, like you give a health tip.
Yeah, health tips. I can give health tips.
Do you think they're just, that's something that just in passing.
Yeah.
That you can kind of hand out.
Yeah, that's my thing.
I know. You know me. I dabble in all kinds of shit.
You dibble dabble. You sure do.
Yeah, I'm an open mind. I love seeing documentaries, as a lot of our listeners already know. I love reading articles, diving into shit, hearing news, and all that kind of crazy shit. Like, I just always been a fan of doing stuff like that,
Always a fan of doing the most.
No, it's called knowledge is power.
Oh, stop putting me down. God, I know I'm not like the sharpest tool in the shed or whatever, but I was very book smart, and now I'm not.
You just I don't even know the word for it. It's like, what? Like, I guess your book smarts were where it mattered when it was within the school.
Yeah, and now after it's kind of like
that reminds me of that totally random example, but it's like when you're young and you don't have money for shit, and then when you get older now you're buying all this crazy shit, versus when you were young you had all this money for shit, when you're older you don't have money for shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Analogies, you have all that when it mattered, like, oh, I need this for school, and then you're older and you're like, shit, and role reversal.
Yeah, the things you learn in school that you really don't need. You know what I mean? Like
number bonds?
Yeah, or like number bonds that we were just working on, or pi. What's that? The math pi thing, or the
314.
When have you used that since high school?
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely not. Like, some of the shit they teach is fucking retarded as hell.
Honestly, with everybody going back to school, and I've always had this view on education. I've always been a proponent of teach your kids obviously the general necessities, but start seeing where they want to go in life, and then teach them that general thing. Like, I'm sure someone is using pi. There probably is someone. There's physics people that are out there using it.
Yeah, if that's your thing, if that's
chemists,
what you
whatever.
Go to college for.
Now you're gonna put me through high school, make me sit in that class. It's not gonna benefit me in no way, and I'm gonna get a bad grade,
right?
And it's gonna fuck me up for something.
Don't you feel like you could have saved that for when you do go to college, and that's pertains to your major? Totally makes sense. Now, to get a kid to remember pi, whatever, 3.14, blah blah blah, all the bullshit that no one cares about. What was the point of that?
I have no idea.
So we could fail algebra, stress out, you know.
And you know me, I'm not a lot of person. Don't waste my time. If I'm gonna put my time, and I tell this all the time to people that talk to me, if I'm gonna put my time and effort into something, I better be getting something back. I'm not putting my time and effort into something and not getting nothing in return. And I feel like it's a big waste of time. I mean, like I joke right now, like so we officially have a high schooler that just started high school, and we have a second grader. And mind you, this second grader was in school for kindergarten, then half of kindergarten because then the lockdown happened. Nothing to do with first grade, and now you're sticking them back in second grade. Which to me, those are the grades where you're really learning those essentials.
Oh, it's so important.
I see people joke about this all the time. The way they do mathematics now,
that's when you start loving
crazy.
School. You're like, oh, it's so awesome. I love my teachers and my friends. Like that's when your like love and like interest in school, I feel like starts.
No, and the thing is, it's like the way they do mathematics, and I see people joke about this in memes all the time. It's like it's so weird. And then like when I'm like, bro, I'm like, look, you can just get the number like this, and I was trying to explain it to him. It seemed over his head, you know. But again, he's still young, so it's like we're doing these number bond things. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, just your simple addition and subtraction, and what you're gonna use, and what you need, and what you don't need, and
it's
you know,
hard
all this
because
guy.
like we're laughing about it, but at the same time, we're also like frustrated because it's like, great, this kid's gonna go to school. He's not going to understand shit how to do this, and then he's going to do bad, and then they're going to like hold him back because he doesn't know how to do a fucking number bond, which I'm sure when he gets older to our age, he's never going to draw like some random circles and do it.
It's not just his defense, and in everyone else's defense around the United States of America and probably the world. It's been a known fact in conversation. People are like, that whole doing the e-learning and everybody passing, you're definitely fucking... There's going to be some discrepancy in some of these kids when it comes to educational standpoint of things. And it's true. Sure. There's going to be stuff that
and
just...
And even some of, like, my friends, like my mom friends, they're like, oh, my kid is just sucks at reading, or my kid sucks at this.
And our kid kicks ass at it. For a second grader,
and
he'll read your text message from a mile away in your phone.
Yeah, so how are they going to... You know, we'll see. Again, we're, like, second day in of school. But we'll see how they balance that because I don't know how they're going to.
Neither do I. And if teachers thought they had their work cut out for them when they were doing e-learning, they definitely got their work cut out for them because what is that? It reminds me of, you know, when your kids go with your parents, meaning their grandparents, and then they come back and they're all fucked up and backwards. That's what it's like. Like they're teaching these kids all this stuff. Yeah. You sent them away for a year and a half.
With us.
Yeah, and now they're going to come back and be like, what the fuck happened here? You know, your kid comes all sugared up and with money in his pocket and an attitude because he's been giving away that attitude and getting away with it, and you're like, no. You're back in this house, slow your roll. That's what's happening right now with these teachers. It's gonna start continue happening. Schools are starting kicking off.
Yeah, and it's weird. I felt like maybe they would have an introduction to like a recap of all the things they like.
No, she jumped in that first day too.
Yeah, the things that were attempted to be learned, you know, over e-learning, but they just kind of like jumped right in and was like, hey, do this, and it's like. Hopefully, you know, he brings it back and they're not expecting, like, perfection because it's
No, I was shocked today when he said, yeah, I have 2 pages of math. I definitely was taken back.
There might have been 3. We're not sure because he didn't write it. I had to ask a mom friend what pages
Well, and the thing again, like I'm saying, it's like typically, like, your first day, it's like, okay, get all set. Day 2, this is what we're going to go over. Then maybe, like, day 3... I'd say typically the week after the first week of school is when you start diving into all the homework. So, yeah, it was surprising that right away they were just like, bam, here goes your workbook, here, start doing this day 2. Now, our oldest hasn't got home yet from high school because he's still in he's at practicing cross country. So it's interesting to see what he's got going on. I know last night him and I were hanging out watching, I was watching the DeLorean documentary, which was real interesting there too. And him and I were talking for a second, and I know he's got engineering honors. And he said that he literally looked at me with a straight face.
Seriously, Godspeed.
This is the first time she's hearing this story. No lie.
Fuck.
Because you can see it. If you went to a straight face, I go, well, how was your class? Like, I mean, all of them are pretty much boring. I mean, engineering seemed kind of alright, but it's more those classes like, you ready for this? If I do the effort and do the work, it'll be fine.
That's great.
And I was like,
nice.
You're supposed to do the work. You're supposed to have the effort.
Kind of what school is.
Yeah.
Just.
But his mom was like...
It's just how it goes since the beginning of time. You might not like it, you just fucking do it.
God bless him.
You know, yeah, I don't know. I've gone back and forth, and a lot of time, you know, school is very different now than it was when we were young. You know, I mean, from everything. I remember even when Martin was...
Okay, boomer.
I know. Okay, what am I? Millennial, which I really feel like I'm not. But
what's the one that's from the 30s?
Slow speed or something. Slow reaction, no reaction.
Yeah, no reaction or something like that.
Slow reaction or something like that. Quiet
reaction.
Quiet. this is bad.
It's like, go ahead. Just.
But anyways, even when Martin was little and he would be in like reading or something, I think even at Eli's age.
Silent generation.
Oh my God, it was so off.
For our listeners who were born between 1928 and 1945.
So many listeners.
First off, congratulations. You know how a podcast works.
Oh my God.
We appreciate you being here, and that means you got a smartphone. You are called the silent generation.
Yeah, I was really off. What did I say? Slow, quiet.
You're like the retarded generation?
Oh my God!
No, she didn't. God damn.
Oh my God. Anyways, what I was trying to say is school has been different for like a really long time. And I think we've, all kind of been like adapting. With Martin, I know he's a smart kid and whatever he does in life he's going to do pretty fucking well.
Yeah.
The thing is just getting through school because like, you just fucking have to. It's just what you do. But I think I've let go of the fact like where you're just like, you go to high school, you go to college, you go to college, you go to college, you go to college, what college are you going to? I think, and I don't know about you, I think I've let go of the fact that college is just not for everyone, nor do you need it if you can work hard enough and find your lane. Yeah, I think a lot of professions and I don't know, kids or the generation these days, like a lot of them don't have a college degree because I think a lot of professions like these days know that you don't need one. It's very much competitive. Like even mine, I went to school for design. I have a bachelor's in design, and now you can learn all that shit on your own and do stuff easily with a click of an app. That sometimes looks better than an actual designer.
I mean, I'm gonna say something real quick on that, but what's the guy's name does the big motivational speaking and get your shit together?
Oh,
I always forget his name, but I mean, he had a thing where he answered a question to a professor that was like, college is not worth it. He was just like, it's just not. And he broke down how he went with that and whatever, and how he hustled and blah blah blah. But what I was gonna say was, yeah, now we're in a generation where you can get instant millionaires for doing dancing on TikTok. Like it's just the way to conceive money and dollars and fame and whatever you want to call it. It's so attainable and different. You know what I mean? Like you literally
the equation is just different. It isn't like you go to college and you make money. Like there's so many more different parts of the equation now that could attain the same amount of money.
Well, check this out. I forgot the dude. You might know the dude. It's this black dude. And he's always like, and he's on the cover of J Balvin's new single. But anyways, this guy, and again I forget his name, but he was like broke a year and a half ago, some part of Africa or something like that, and then he started doing all these TikToks, and then his shit blew off because it's just reaction with his face. If people visually would see what I'm talking about, you've seen it. You had seen him on memes, but he blew off of that and his dances, and now he's like a millionaire. And then he had like a whole thing of like a year ago, right before the pandemic, I was broke and I had just lost my job. Now I'm a millionaire. So it's again a lot of these startups, a lot of these .com, not even .comers, the apps. People are making apps for all this kind of crazy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a thing where you can be self-made.
Yeah.
Where
totally.
Again, the document watcher and me, like
I think it's self-made everything now.
Well, yeah, and like I said again, the documentary watcher and me, like I was watching that one about it's the verses, like and when it's Reese cups, Hershey's, and all these big major corporations that we buy and craft now, how they started and how it was a struggle of getting money from the bank and how they were poor and whatever. Yeah. And it's like now you got like, and then their family obviously grows out that branch, and your money's around money, where now you can have somebody that could be street but then make money and be sitting at the same table with a lot of those folks, where that opportunity wasn't there unless back in the day like it was some form of industry or some form of like. Hey, you're probably wondering what happened. Did I just pay for the OnlyFans extra different angle shot? No. Actually, the video feed cut for some godforsaken reason, and we didn't realize it. So the continuous part of this podcast is going to be an audio only, not visual.
You don't get to see our beautiful faces.
No, but you got to get this little exclusive clip. So, on with the podcast, and action.
And go.
Obviously, when the record label that I was with and shopping for record deals, I wish, and I had this conversation with Mars. I was like, I wish SoundCloud was what it is now, what it was over 10 years ago. Because we would have definitely like millions of copies out the fucking door. But it wasn't. You had to go to these labels and get this money and get this promote. Now these guys get online. They produce their own shit in their bedroom, which is sometimes horrible, more than likely, half the time horrible quality. The kids start sharing it. The kids start listening to it. Boom, they're on Spotify. The music's there right in the app. So it's just crazy to see, but I agree with you. Like, I'm just not a big fan of, like, I'm not sitting here telling my kid, you're gonna have to go to be a surgeon. You're gonna have to make sure you get your
No,
degree.
it's not even that. I think it was just like a known thing. Like, you go to high school and then you go to college. It's just like what you do, like what I did. But, and before I was like, no, you're going to go to college, man. Like, I don't care what you do. You choose what you want to do. Like, I'll never pressure you to be a doctor, lawyer, whatever the case, but, now I do feel like there's other means of finding your career path. But in the same aspect, saying that, like, there's all this self-made and all this online BS, like, I do feel like the newest generation sees that and sees how easy it can be. But also in the same aspect, it's also not that easy. Like, some of those people, it's totally by chance. And some of those people are really putting in the work behind it. You know what I mean?
The key word there was hustle. If you hustle.
Right.
Everything I said there was if you hustle. Not if you just sit there and sit with your...
And even if you hustle, that hustle could be for 5-7 years and nothing could come out of it, or a little bit could come out of it, or amazing things like really quick could come out of it. I think it's that instant gratification that a lot of times people are looking for.
No, and luck definitely
it happens, and sometimes it doesn't.
And luck definitely plays a major part in that. It's always about luck. Like, you just happen to luck into something, or luck into a video.
Who saw your thing, and who saw your TikTok, and who shared it, and are they famous? And now all of a sudden you're TikTok famous or whatever. Yeah, I mean,
but it also causes this generation to also be part of, like, where we heard this as a 6-year-old say, well, I don't have enough followers. And it's like, well, followers don't mean shit. Like, and it took me back, and I was wondering, like, where the fuck did people come infatuated with the numbers of, like, well, I have this many followers, I have this many likes. And it took me back to when we were watching that 90s special on Viceland. And on Beanie Babies. And I remember when I showed the website, and I was like, oh, shit. I remember when websites had a counter at the bottom that told you how many people visit the website. And I remember that being a big thing.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, where people would be like, even when I had like a little couple fan sites for a couple bands I liked, it was like, well, how many views are getting on your website? And you'd be like, oh, you have the counter. You couldn't fucking adjust. The counter was real.
Yeah.
And that was based on, well, you know what? I get 1,000 people come to my website on a daily traffic. And it's like that, the internet, whoever started that counter to me, it parlayed into likes, follows, and things like that.
Or like on MySpace when it was like, well, why don't you have me in your top 5 or whatever it was at the time?
But that was the most cruel.
Then it turned into like Facebook likes.
Well,
and then,
But MySpace, that was the most, if you want to call it, setting thing. But the individual chose who they wanted to put in their 8. But MySpace wasn't driven on like likes and whatever. People did their bulletins. They crashed the walls to see what kind of music. It kind of shut what you had going on, and your top 8 was your top 8 people who you fuck with. Mm-hmm. Where now, Facebook turned into like, I got X amount of friends and I got a like page and I have X amount of likes. Where MySpace wasn't really on that shit. It was definitely more individual based.
It's just the fact of showing something off, whether it's showing your friends off or showing now that when it turned into like Facebook and Instagram, showing yourself off and how many likes and hearts you could get and stuff like that. And like you said, it to a point it doesn't matter, I guess, if you are not trying to go down that social media road, right? Because if you are trying to be, age famous or TikTok or whatever the fuck you got trying to go on or whatever, then maybe it does matter, but it also goes into like all these social media things have led to other jobs like social media experts, where they teach you how to run your page and tell you what kind of content to put in. Like, it's created all those jobs too, which is crazy.
Which I wish,
like, you could just put that under your name and be like, yes, I'm a social media fucking expert.
I wish that was around when we were in school, because I was always on the cutting edge, finding new sites, finding new stuff. And I look back now like, man, I wish I had that opportunity. Like, and I'm not gonna throw my hat in the ring to go back to school to get a certification for it, because there's some 16-year-old that knows how to do reels and this and that and whatever, and tricks and whatever. And it's like, I don't got time for that. I'm always all into it. I'm always up on the latest software or whatever's going on, beta, websites, all this kind of crazy shit. But I just feel like, man, I wish, again, that's another mark that I wish was a little bit sooner in my life, because I think I would have fucking went running.
I know.
With it.
How would I even known?
It's crazy. I mean.
Yeah, so. That's right. What can you do? You missed your mark. Now you got another mark.
I think I'm still missing it.
Like you might still be missing it.
Like, you missed your mark.
It's ever changing, you know.
Like, you missed the bullseye, but X marks the spot.
Speaking of changing, do you ever notice, like, recently I noticed something about myself and I was like, why am I like this? But I realized, like,
That's a trick question.
when did I realize this?
Yo, Joey, she's baiting me.
No, not at all. But, like, you know, you just realize, like, you have, like, consistent behavior and you're like, oh, this is so typical of me. And I think, someone was like, oh, you, like, remodeled your house again? And I was like, no, I just changed the decoration. You know how I am with that. Like, I'm constantly changing stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm like, you know, I get bored easily. And then I'm thinking, I fucking change my hair every, like, 2 months. I get so bored easily. Or, like, the other day I thought about it again. And I was like, one of the times I went out with Gabby to lunch. And she orders the same thing every single time. Same place we go. Same entree. Same thing. I order something different every single time. And you know this probably from when we go out to eat, too. I'm like...
I'll be like, oh, you're going to eat those crab cakes? Like, no, I'm going to try this.
Yeah, I'm like, why am I like this? Like, I get bored super easy. It's like a miracle I'm still married. You know?
Yeah, I knew that was leading somewhere.
So, don't you feel lucky?
I mean,
I haven't gotten bored of you. Yeah.
Yeah, quote unquote. Is that where I'm supposed to stick them at? Right there? You didn't say it?
No, but you know, you just have one of those like aha moments, and you're like, Jesus Christ, why am I like this? I really don't know why I'm like this.
I can't think
of
something.
Like why? What would make me like this? You know what I mean?
There might be things that I'm involved in spurts that I might be super all into, but I think I'm consistent on with what I get into.
You are consistent. You're very consistent in what you do,
like
and
if you go
how
to a certain
you are.
restaurant, like there's a certain food I like. You're right. That's
or
my
even
jam.
how I dress. Like one day I could look like a pretty princess, and the other day I look like, I don't know, a gangster off the street. Like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like everything changes all the time, and I keep thinking like, why am I like this?
I don't know. That's not a bad thing. I mean, that's just something that you're always changing and you're always going with the flush. I'm saying, like, fucking 10 years ago, me asked me about mezcal.
No, well, yeah. Obviously not.
Yeah, as you get older, you start to
probably couldn't afford it, anyways.
No, like you start to go ahead and.
What did we drink back in the day?
Again, we did this a couple episodes. I was always a Hennessy guy. It was always Hennessy, Red Bull. Vodka,
no, like
Hennessy.
back when we were not drinking Hennessy, even like before that.
Yeah, I got pictures from
other things.
The polar vortex when we had Hennessy. We were hanging.
I feel like we used to get those daiquiri packs. I'm talking about like real ghetto. You know what I mean? Not Hennessy ghetto, like real ghetto.
The daiquiri for the
like you remember
ones?
Like the daiquiri packs that were like
that
you just freeze them.
That was the thing in the house where it was like, oh my god, got the daiquiri pack, it's frozen. But I mean, like it wasn't like on a Friday night we were like, grab the daiquiri. Like, it wasn't like that. I mean, it was a weird, awkward drink. I mean, consistently, if we were going out somewhere to drink or out drinking, I always had either some form of Hennessy Red Bull, Hennessy Cranberry, Hennessy and Coke.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, we went through the popsicle ones that we got to. There were alcohol popsicle, vodkas, whatever. I can't think of.
But those were like the vodka popsicles was actually recently, maybe a couple years ago. It's like.
I'm getting stuff that's just as odd out there. Like I remember when I met you were always a vodka soda.
No, vodka tonic.
Vodka tonic.
Yeah.
I always mix it up, but I get it right the first time.
Yep.
Vodka tonic person.
Unlike our son's birthday that you had to try 5 times for. But anyways.
Mix up the birth year and the birth date. The 7 and the 8, and it's the 8 and the 7. Like it always fucks me up, but numbers are not my strong suit. I admit that.
308.
Oh, I was like 308. I was like, what zip code is that? So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's real interesting to again, like I said, that things as you go along you change. I feel like I looked at my driver's license when I went to get that shit renewed, which the final copy came in. The color didn't do it justice.
Still bad.
And I looked back then, like I had the short fade, no facial
yeah, tight,
hair.
Super tight.
Yeah. No,
even when you used to shave your beard or line it up, whatever it's called, it was really like thin.
The chin strap at one point.
Yeah, the chin strap. Yep.
Yeah, the eyebrows were real fucking thin and shit. And now I remember 3-4 years ago, whatever it was, and Easy's like, let's just embrace your curls. And I embraced the curls, and I love my curls in my head now. Like, it is what it is. Like, so.
It's a little bit more grown, I think, a grown look.
It's different. And back then in my time, the fades was the thing. Like everybody was getting faded.
But like I was saying, but you'll stick to that now for a long time.
Yeah.
Or next time I'll probably have like.
I take that back. I get the I'd be lying here if I didn't say like. For example, I took the kids to get their back to school haircut Saturday, and a couple of the guys had those streaks and stuff growing, and I think it's awesome. God. It looks nice, but
you're not adventurous like that.
Yeah, no, I always thought like
you're not a risk taker.
No, I think the jobs that I worked in, besides DJing, like it wasn't an environment for that, so I think I never chanced it. I don't think I never was like, fucking let me go on a leap and just do that. Like,
but what about the jobs I was in? Like, I was in corporate, too.
But you were in the creative department where it was
that
embraced.
Obviously did not make it... It was not embraced.
It was.
No, it was
doing
not.
The creatively things.
No, it was not. And
you were just extra with it when you came in.
No, you know that. And you know it wasn't embraced. Not at Alberto, not at
well,
the
not
other...
At the play. I'm saying, but
not.
To me, like, when you see creative departments and they tell you, like, it's always...
Yeah, on TV, and the marketing agencies...
But it just so happened the creative area that you fell in happen to have a lot of tight asses.
Yeah, corporate doesn't play that.
I think if you would have felt somewhere else, like at a different company with different type of creative stuff, I think it would have just fit well. But I think with the departments you fell in at both places, you fell into where you were the millennial and they were the silent whatever.
Corporate's just not for me. Not a corporate person.
No.
Never will be, but that's why I think, now I feel like I could do all these things where it's like you'll have the same hair for God knows how long to come, whereas mine maybe next month will be a different color, will be a different length.
It was a hump getting over having a sleeve tattoo. I remember as I started to unveil it little by little, some of my counterparts down in Atlanta still don't know. And I see now on Zooms like this. I was on one today because I was like this sitting and then I grabbed my water and they're trying to make out what's there. And that was a thing where it's like, what's corporate and make sure you wear long sleeve. But it came to a point where I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to... If I get looks, I get looks. Like, I'm not going to hide the tattoo. I mean, I don't got nothing on the face and nothing,
I think there's so many corporate people now with tattoos. I think, You'd
be surprised. Like, when I low-key...
Sometimes it's covered with,
like... when I low-key come out the gym and run into my boss...
Sometimes it's covered with suits or polos or whatever, people are wearing in corporate these days. This is a
funny, quick story before
secret.
Quick, funny story before we get out of here, guys. So, I've always was like, man, when the boss that I have now, when I first met him a couple years ago, cool dude, solid dude. But when I met him, I was like, I was the long sleeves, the whole shit. Lo and behold, finally, let it flow, whatever, wear my shirt, cut polos, whatever. I'm coming out of the gym, and he happens to be in the gym. And he was coming out of the showers. No, I didn't see nothing before you were commenting.
Oh, my God.
He's ready but he doesn't have his shirt on. And it looked like he went to kind of grab his shirt because I think he was feeling some type of way. And he had two of the most, like, a big back fucking tat. And then something along the side of his ribs.
But of what?
I couldn't make it out. It looked like it was probably one of those iron cross. Like,
because you didn't want to stare?
Yeah. But I was like... You
didn't want to make it awkward?
I was like, this motherfucker.
You didn't want to be like, hey, sweet tat.
Like, something's there if
What's
you're getting...
the story
if you're getting a whole fucking back tat and then some shit on the side of your ribs. Like, that's a fucking... It wasn't like I walked in there and he had, like, a little skull and bones. No. And it was... You could tell it was done, like... Because it's got that really dark green line. Like, it was probably done a little bit ghetto, maybe, or... Maybe
like
the 90s.
Like the color wasn't right or something.
No, it's that
like
really
that?
dark green when they do those. It's hard to explain, but
why would it be dark green though?
Not dark green. It's just like a faded green. Like when it looks like a real shitty. I don't know.
Like it's supposed to be black, but it's green, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it was weird, but regardless, I seen it and I was like, this whole time I'm over here trying to fucking hide this arm years ago, not now, and I'm like, and this motherfucker's walking around here with that big ass iron cross in his back and some shit down the side of his ribs.
Actually, at the gym the other day, there was this girl at the front desk, and she's probably like, I don't know, whatever, Gen Z or X or whatever the fuck the new generation is called.
Well, when was she born? Because I can tell you right now.
I don't fucking know. She looked like she was like 19, 18 maybe. I don't know,
she's part Gen Z.
And
Gen Z is 1997 or present.
Yeah. And she's like, oh my God, I love your tattoos. I'm like, thanks. She's like, what's your theme? And I was like, oh. And I'm like, I don't have a theme. I don't know, like, do people have themes for their tattoos? I guess like in certain areas, like I got a new one on my leg. It's kind of Asian-y, I guess.
Well, my right arm is technically Japanese.
you obviously have an Asian fetish, so your whole arm is like an Asian thing. But like all over my body since I've been like, I don't know, 23 and getting tattoos, it caught me off guard. I was like, oh no, I'm like, I don't have it.
It's because yours just happened to flow like if it was meant to all be one piece.
Definitely wasn't.
Yeah, Rod just does agree.
Catch a picture of me when I was like 23 or 24. You'll see me naked.
Whoa.
Not that kind of naked, but some of them. But those aren't on the internets.
Whoa.
Those aren't on the internets.
And on
I
that
don't.
note,
I don't think they're on the internets. You think they're on the internet?
again, when were you born? I'll tell you if it's on the internet. If you're a part of silent generation, no. Baby boomers.
I'm not part of the silent generation.
Gen X possibility.
I'm a millennial, which I don't think I'm a millennial.
It is you are. It's your birth year.
I'm somewhere in between millennial and Gen X for sure. Like I feel like I fall more in the Gen X.
Well, and that's where I heard the phrase that was used in a meeting a while back, where they were like, "We're considered millennial elders because you're just kind of got an elder state." Like I feel like we're in that front part of the '80s. Like everything that's in that later part of the '90s is what fucked shit
the
up
last year's, according to this site, anyways, is the last year is 1980 of Gen X. But I'm 82, and I feel like I'm in Gen X. I'm not a millennial. I don't feel like you could say I'm a millennial.
I mean, I've never referred to myself in this type of like. I don't look at your dad and be like, "Oh, here goes silent generation."
Well, yeah, because we didn't know that even existed, and someone just made this up recently because they weren't in like 1930 being like, oh, you know, that silent generation. They didn't have the fucking name then. That shit was just made up.
The only thing I recall of anything generation-wise when I watch my documentaries, is they'll talk about like the industrial boom, you know, the industrial generation, the factory generation, like when this stuff was coming out. So I'm just trying to educate you here, you know. I'm trying to bring it up.
I'm educated, okay.
I
went to the collegio, you know.
What's 10 plus 2?
0.
You're like equals
0. And on that note,
we appreciate you guys rocking out with us each and every week here on all your favorite podcast platforms, as well as those who could visually see us on YouTube.
Each and every other week.
And as well as those who could visually see us on YouTube. If you guys haven't rocked out with us on YouTube, our podcast listeners, and you want to see these grills, these grills, make sure you guys check us out. Look up Bona Fide Bullshit, the podcast. Or you could always just hit the Instagram at bonafide_BS.
And all the links are there,
Hit the tap my bio links. And then it's going to lead you to everything fun and free that we have.
Good old bios.
So, with that said, we appreciate it, everyone. Have yourself a great rest of your week.
Till next time, bitches. Peace out.